Over the next 35 minutes, I will show you exactly what it takes to blend all of these images together into one amazing artwork. I will show you how to work with textures, how to properly use layers, some amazing selecting and masking techniques, how to blend multiple pictures so that they actually look like one, and ultimately, I will show you how to apply a final color grade that will tie everything together. So if you're ready to level up your photo manipulation skills, then sit back, relax, and enjoy this tutorial. I can show you the pictures that I've shot. So it is this texture, there's more textures, this lantern post, there's more textures. Then it's me in front of my camper pretending I'm looking over a ledge or over the edge. Then I've got another rock texture and I've got my camper without me. So these are the images that I'm going to use, and I might need one stock photo, as you can see at the bottom right here, to actually have a nice aerial view of a city. Alright, so let's start and let's create a new document. Well, I have already created it, and the document size, you can see it here in the top right, is, top left, is 2000 pixels times 2500 pixels. And I want to start off by cutting myself out. Now, I've done this already because I don't want to spend too much time. I've done this using the pen tool, so you can see I've got a very nice and crystal clear cutout. If you don't know how to use the pen tool, I've created a tutorial for you, which you can view, after this tutorial. I will link it in the video description. All right, so I'm gonna drag myself in. So I'm just gonna rename this layer Rens. And I'm gonna press Command C, go to my empty document, press Command V. And now I'm just gonna position myself somewhere around here. All right, the next step is I'm gonna need my camper. And what I want is I basically need all of this area. So all of this green in front and back and the top part as well. So I'm gonna use the pen tool once again. So I'm gonna press P on the keyboard and I'm just gonna start maybe right around here. And I'm just gonna create a nice selection of my camper. And of course you want to spend a good amount of time on your selections, because selections are very important, because if you do everything right except your selections, everybody can see that in the end result. So that would be a pity. That is also why I'm gonna host a workshop on mastering selections in Affinity Photo. I think it's gonna be very valuable. So if you're interested in that, make sure to join my school, Affinity Photo Creatives, because it is only available to my members. Let's select our awning as well. Boom, boom, and boom. And now I'm gonna need this bit as well. So I'm just gonna go to the left like this, because I'm gonna need that. And right now I'm just gonna create some wiggly pattern so that it actually looks that this is basically gonna be this area right here. So let's dive. Oops. There we go. And I'm just gonna create this wonky pattern or path like this. And now I'm gonna go to the left and boom, close it. All right, so now I've got my camper. I'm just gonna hit the mask icon, but what you'll see is that we forgot this part right here. So if I want to add to my selection, and it is very good to know, you click this little icon, add new curve to selected curved objects. And right now, if I'm gonna start right here, and I'm just gonna continue my selection. Let's actually move this in a little bit. And now you can see that I'm actually subtracting this from my original selection. All right, so now we are around, and right here we're touching the grass again. So I'm just gonna close it right here. All right, this looks good. And then there's one more bit or two more bits actually that we need to remove. So I'm just gonna do the same thing again. Like this. All right. And the last bit. Like so. All right, so now we've got a nice clear cutout of our van. And I'm just gonna rename this layer camper, copy it and go to my document and paste it in right here. So what we want is, I want the full width of this object. So I'm gonna position it inside of my canvas like this. And I'm gonna use some textures to fill this up. So I can probably use this side, this texture on this side to fill up the left side as well. So I'm gonna select my camper layer and just gonna grab a marquee tool, and I'm just gonna make a selection of this grass patch, press Command J to duplicate it. Well, I need to like this. This is perfect. And I'm just gonna transform it, flip this horizontally and move it over to the other side like this. There we go. This looks pretty good. All right. Now to make this act like one layer, because now obviously we have like separate layers right here, and the camper layer right here, it's a separate one. So what I'm gonna do is group these together. So I'm just gonna press Command J to group these two together, and now we can use it as basically one layer. And now I'm gonna drag myself on top of here. And I'm just gonna position myself a little differently than from the original. Reposition myself to somewhere around here so that it actually looks like I'm watching down this little hole. So I can probably position myself here. Yeah, I think this looks good, or maybe even closer to the edge. And now I'm just gonna use a mask. So let's create another mask, clip it to myself, press B on the keyboard to grab any brush tool. Probably a basic brush will do fine. And make sure black is my foreground color. And I'm just gonna brush a little bit out right here. And also this little bit. All right, this looks good. This looks great. And now what I see is perfect because I make myself a little bigger. My head is exactly in this white square. So you can actually, like, once we put a nice blue sky, you will actually really see me instead of on this darker background, let's say. So I think this is gonna work out perfectly fine. All right, now let's first start by adding some textures to the bottom right here. So I found that, let me search, this one is gonna look very nice. So let's actually just make a rough selection of, the texture right here. And I don't want to have too much, grass. I like this rocky texture. So I'm gonna press Command J, press Command D to deselect, and press Command C to copy. Go to my document. And I want to paste this to the bottom actually, or I want to position this at the very bottom of my layer stack. And I'm just gonna reduce the size a whole lot. So something like this looks pretty fine to me. And we're just gonna position it right around here. And maybe flip it. I don't know, this looks pretty good. And I'm just gonna copy this thing a few times because you won't see that it's like, that it's a duplicate anyways, because it's such a weird pattern. I can also flip it like vertically if I want to have some different shapes. Like this, copy it again, maybe flip it vertically or horizontally like this. And one more somewhere around here. All right, I think this looks good as a base. Let's all group these together. So I'm just gonna group these, and this is gonna be, let's say, I don't know, first layer. And then I want to get a rock texture, so I can probably find this one I really like. And I'm just gonna copy this bit right here. Let's see what I've copied. Like this looks fine to me. And I'm gonna press Command J and Command D to deselect, Command C to copy it and move it over, and press Command V. Whoops. And now I will position this thing just below the other layers. So I'm gonna drag it below. And right now we'll get a nice rocky texture like this. Command duplicate it once again, maybe rotate it a little bit, maybe stretch it a little bit so it looks different. like this. Command J to duplicate it, rotate it, maybe flip it. Like this. Command J. Stretch it. Maybe put this one below the other one. Like this, and once more to finish it up. And maybe I'm gonna increase it like this. All right, I think this looks pretty good. Let's also make this one a little taller. This looks pretty decent already. Now let's group these three together as well, and that is gonna be the second layer. Oh, second layer. So now we've got our first layer right here, and then a second layer below that. And we could add more layers, of course, but I think this is just fine for now. Now, if we want to make myself bigger, of course we can, because like I want to be in focus more, so we can actually position myself a little differently. Maybe like this, and now we can move everything together if we want to. Like so. And I like to use the rule of thirds. So if I press C on the keyboard and you want to make sure it's the original ratio, you can see I'm nicely positioned in the middle of my canvas. So that is something I really like. All right, now obviously I want to have some grass texture right here because this just looks very, very off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my camper layer and I'm gonna create a mask. So I clip this to the whole group, so this mask affects everything that's inside of the group. And now I'm just gonna grab a soft round brush and press B on the keyboard, decrease the size a little bit, and I'm just gonna brush out a little bit of this grass texture also behind me. And what I'm gonna do to not mess with these parts, I'm just gonna press L on the keyboard to select the lasso tool and go for the polygonal lasso tool. And now I'm just gonna make a very quick selection around this pole and also around my bumper so that I'm not gonna mess with it. Like this. And now I'm gonna invert this selection. So I'm gonna press Command Shift I. And if I brush in right now, so I press B on the keyboard, you can see that I don't touch everything that is not selected. So this is just a little trick to work around harder edges, let's say. So this looks pretty good. Now let's go to the other side, and here I'm going to do the same. So I'm just going to make a very quick selection of my camper so that I'm not going to mess with it. I think this is fine. And press Command Shift I to invert the selection. And now with the brush tool, I won't affect my camper if I brush next to it. Like this. All right. Now I'm going to show you one cool trick how to get grass texture right here. And that is by using grass brushes. So if I go into my brush panel, I go to the IAMRENSI nature brushes and then grab any grass texture. So you can obviously use other grass brushes for this as well. With my mask active and with white as a foreground color, you will now see that if I brush over here, I get this very awesome grass texture. And I can also use different grass brushes, of course, to get like different grass blades so that it doesn't really look duplicated. Maybe this one right here. This looks good. Let's go here. I think they're a little too big. Something like this looks very cool to me. All right, let's go to the other side and just do the same thing. I'm just going to brush from left to right a couple of times. That didn't look good. Same thing, grab another grass brush. Boom, boom, boom. Use different sizes. That really works well to get the effect of realism, basically. And maybe use one more grass brush for some different grass blades. All right, so I think this already looks very, very cool. Now for this photo manipulation, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, and that is by using my own photos. Now usually I don't really use my own photos, so I want to take a moment to talk about something that has actually helped me a lot improving my iPhone photography. I'm excited to announce to you that today's video was sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. Skillshare can help you take your career, skills, hobbies, passions, or side hustles to the next level. I've been wanting to up my photography game, especially iPhone photography, because this is a good camera that I always have in my pocket. One of the great things about Skillshare is that their classes are led by industry experts who are passionate about sharing their knowledge. You get real hands-on learning, and you can even create your own projects after completing a class and get feedback from the community. Skillshare even offers learning pods, which are curated sequential class collections to master a specific skill or competency. I've been using Skillshare to dive deeper into iPhone photography and design techniques, which directly ties into what we're doing today. A class that really helped me a lot is iPhone Photography: How to Take Pro Photos on Your iPhone by Dale McManus. In this course, he will teach you everything you need to know, from how to set up your phone, different shot compositions, how to create depth in your photography, storytelling in your photography, and even how to edit your photos in Lightroom. If you're into photography, graphic design, or even looking to create your own YouTube channel, Skillshare has courses that will help you level up. Whether you're a beginner or more advanced, they've got something for everyone. And there's the best part: the first 500 people who use the link in the video description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So if you've been thinking about improving your creative skills or explore new creative paths, now is the right time to start. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Now let's jump back into the tutorial and create something awesome out of these images. Alright, so now it's time to drag in our city and some nice skyline right here. And then we're gonna add some element and add the contrast and shadows, etc. to our layer. So let's first find the city, and I've just found it by typing Arial City, and this is the image that I was looking for. So I'm just gonna click and drag this image in, and I'm just gonna resize everything accordingly, position it somewhere around here. I think I want to flip it or maybe leave it like it is. But of course I want to drag this to the very bottom of my layer stack and reposition it somewhere around. Maybe somewhere around here looks pretty fine to me for now. Now I also need some skies. So I'm just gonna drag in this one because I really like it. And I'm gonna drag it to the bottom and just position it somewhere where I like it. So I think something like this. And now we've got a very nice contrasting sky. Obviously we're not gonna use the bottom part. So I'm just going to create a layer mask and press G and just create a very quick layer mask like so. And yeah, let's drag in our lantern post, which I already cut out. I just used the pen tool once again, and I'm just going to copy this one and paste it in right here as well. So we're gonna have some nice spot for our camper. We are parked up legally. And maybe I'm gonna swipe this one a little to the left. I think this looks pretty solid. And oh, I see something that I missed here. Like so. And maybe I want to drag this layer out a little bit, or maybe both of them actually, because I just want to have some solid foundation where I'm standing on. So I think maybe like this looks fine to me. All right, now let's add some shadows to our grassy texture. So this is my grass texture right here, and I want to make this one a little darker. So I'm gonna go create an exposure adjustment layer, reduce the exposure quite a bit, and clip it to first layer. And now I'm gonna invert the mask. What I want to do first actually is I also want to make this edge a little rougher, because now it just looks very pointy, let's say. And that is this layer right here. So I'm gonna create a layer mask on this layer. I can even do it to the group actually. And I'm just gonna get some rough brush. Well, I can probably just use my bush brush. This is probably gonna work fine. This one. Press B on the keyboard. Make sure I select black as a foreground color. And just brush it out a little rougher, because it's gonna look a little better than these very sharp edges. All right, that looks good. Now let's go back into our exposure adjustment layer. I'm gonna invert the exposure adjustment layer by pressing Command I. And now I just want to make the top bit, well, I'm just gonna make it blend a little better with our rocky texture, so something like this. And I'm gonna combine these, so I'm gonna press select both of them, press Command G, and inside of this group I'm gonna create an exposure adjustment layer and just reduce the exposure quite a bit. Make sure to add it to the group only. And now I'm gonna use blend options, and I'm gonna remove the shadows from specific highlights and shadows. So let's see how that is gonna look. Something like this looks pretty good to me. So let's see the before and after. Now we've got some nice rocky texture still visible. I'm just gonna darken the edge a little bit. So I'm just gonna create another exposure adjustment layer, darken it even further, press Command I, and now I can probably use my bush brush for this and just darken it here and there to get some extra depth, basically. Like this. So this was the before and this is the after. Maybe I could darken it even more. Something like this. And I'm also gonna add a little edge. I've done it here as well, a little shadowy edge to make it stand out a little better. So we're gonna go into my camper layer and I'm gonna create a exposure adjustment layer right here as well. Darken it a whole lot. Press Command I. I'm just gonna use the bush brush again because I kind of like using it. And just get some nice shadowy on the edge. Like this. It just gives a little more depth, like this. So before and after. Maybe it's too dark. I like that. I think I've made this one too dark. This exposure adjustment layer, I would like to keep it more to the top edge only. So I'm just gonna clip it to my first layer. And now I'm just gonna change the blend options a little bit. Like this, because I think I made it a little too darkish. I kind of want the texture to show, like so. And I'm just gonna do the same to the second layer, but a little different. Like this. So I think that looks a little better. And now what I really liked about the original image, what I'm gonna do right now, is I like to add these roots to the bottom. And this was actually very easy to do. I just used a tree brush for this, and that is this tree brush. So I'm gonna go below my, let's say layer, like rocky texture layer. And below it, I'm gonna create a new pixel layer, and I'm just gonna sample any color from the original image. So maybe something brownish. Well, I can make it a little less dark. And I'm just gonna stamp it once and rotate the brush and just add a couple of these here and there. Maybe flip it. Like this. And maybe another one. I think this just makes it look, makes it look better. Maybe one right here. And I'm gonna group these, and these are roots. And I also want to add one above my rocky texture, so I'm gonna create another one. And now I'm gonna make these a little lighter, I think. Well, we'll see. I'm just gonna stamp it in. Whoops, turn it around. And these are kind of coming out of the rocks. So maybe like here, maybe make it a little lighter, this one. Like this. And maybe another one that is a little darker. Like here, maybe. And now I'm gonna group these together and just use one group mask to mask out the bits and pieces that I don't need. So I'm gonna mask out this, and mask out this bit. This one is too bright, I think. So we're gonna darken that one a little bit. Like so. Boom. All right, this looks fun. I might want to add some mountains to the background right here. So I'm just gonna grab another stock image. And I want it to be distant mountains. Maybe like these. Like so. I think I like this. And I'm not gonna need the bottom half. And now I'm just gonna blend it better. So I'm gonna make it look like distant mountains. Like so. Reduce the saturation. And maybe make them less obvious. Something like this. Awesome. All right, I think this looks good. All right, now what I want to do next is I want to fade out the bottom part, because the city, I want to make it look like, kind of orangey and kind of dirty and smoggy. So I'm just gonna heat it up a little bit by making it more orangey. And I want to fade it out as well. So I'm gonna press Command L, fade it out so that it looks like there's a foggy layer over the city. And I'm using a mask. Whoops. Like this. So now it kind of looks like a smoggy city. I can even add some clouds if I want to with brushes. So let's actually do that. I'm going through the IAMRENSI cloud brushes. By the way, if you're interested in the brushes that I'm using, all of these brushes are part of the Ultimate Brush Bundle, which I sell inside of my school. My school is called Affinity Photo Creatives, and you can join for completely free. And in the classroom, you will find these brushes. All right. Now I also want to make it light leak a little bit on the rocks or on the edge, because now I think it doesn't look right. So I'm gonna go to my these are roots. I'm gonna go to my rocky texture layer, and I'm also gonna make this a little more orangey. To add some more brownish tint to it. And I want to add this tint to the bottom only, so I'm just gonna use my gradient thing again. I think this looks pretty okay. I will add some highlights to these rocks. So I'm just gonna add an exposure adjustment layer. Increase the exposure a bit and press Command I, and now I'm just gonna click here and there. Maybe with some clouds brush, it would work. Like this. Boom. Just here and there for some extra light. Cool. I'm still not sure if I don't really like these mountains. Maybe not, or maybe they should be faded out more. If they're faded out more, they would look better. Also the sky, I forgot about the sky. I want to fade it out more as well. So I'm just gonna create a levels adjustment layer to this one as well. And this is gonna make it blend better. So same thing. With my mask or levels adjustment layer selected, I press G on the keyboard and I just click and drag to create a mask, a gradient mask, which is a very useful technique. And I think this really ties it together. All right, so I'm gonna do some final color adjustments, because this will make it look like one cohesive image. So I'm gonna change I think I'm gonna change the HSL. Let's see if this works. If I just do the HSL, and I'm gonna tweak the blues, because I like these bright blues, kind of faded. Then I'm gonna go to my shirt, which is the reds, of course, and I'm gonna increase the saturation a whole lot because I want to make it pop. And I want to go to the yellows and make it a little more orangey, like this. And that looks pretty good. To finish it up, I'm gonna add a couple of things. So I want to add a vignette, so I'm gonna go to the vignette live filter and just decrease the exposure and the hardness. I want it to be very soft, like this, and the scale should be bigger, and the size should be, the shape should be like this. I think this looks good. So this is without and this is with. Well, I can add a color balance adjustment layer to the top. Let's see. And we're just gonna tweak the shadows, highlights, and midtones a little bit. And I'm gonna do this by eye. So right now I'm targeting the shadows. Midtones. I like some reddish in there. There we go. Not too green. A little bit of green in the midtones. This is gonna be a 0, and the highlights. A little bit of cyan. A little bit of magenta. And no. All right, let's see. Before, after. Yes. Alright, and that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And of course, make sure to join my free Affinity Photo Creative School. We do monthly challenges, weekly live calls, and it's just a very nice place to hang out and connect with others. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.